Welcome to Executives at the Edge, a podcast brought to you by MEF. I'm your host, Pascal Menezes. Join me as we explore thought-provoking perspectives from the leaders and changemakers who are propelling enterprise digital transformation forward. Well, I'm really super excited to have Marisa Trisolino, CEO of CMC Networks. Marisa, welcome to Executives at the Edge. And today I believe we're going to cover really a lot of things. Really, what is Africa? Africa is doing some amazing technology innovations. We're going to cover network as a service and basically the automation and the capabilities of what is potentially Africa going to grow into in the coming decades. So Marisa, with that, could you just give our listeners a little bit of background about yourself and CMC Networks?
Wow, thank you, Pascal. Lovely being here. I've been with CMC Networks I'm going into my 7th year from July onwards. And CMC Networks is an asset-light aggregator, and we are a tier 1 service provider, and we operate probably in the most complex markets in Africa and the Middle East. We cover 6 continents, and we have a core network running across Africa that's SD-WAN enabled, AI enabled, and we manage practically 110 service locations and 180 suppliers. So we provide connectivity services for any multinational governments, carrier providers, ISPs, name it. Whoever needs some form of connectivity requirements across Africa and the Middle East, we help them with that.
You know, I think I saw a presentation one time where you put all of the other continents into Africa and they fit.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Africa can't be that big.
It's
massive, right?
It's huge. I mean, Western Europe fits in there, US fits in there, Japan. It's just immense, and it's true to the true scale. That is just the size.
Wow, that's just mind-blowing. Well, as a leading provider in Africa and the Middle East, what opportunities and/or trends do you see in the telecommunication industry relative to that region? How is CMC Networks positioned to address them?
We just touched on the scale and the size of Africa, right? And what is happening now, you're seeing a tremendous amount of investment in subsea cables coming around Africa. And what this is going to drive is an improved cost of bandwidth cost. And what's also driving now that's coming through is as soon as you've got additional subsea cable and capacity coming in, you have the data centers. Huge data centers coming in, but it's mostly focused on South Africa. So the requirements for edge nodes is there. AI is coming in, ML is coming in. The proliferation of these requirements are going to be driving a lot more foreign direct investment in Africa as well. If you just look at the scale of it, I was reading up some phenomenal statistics the other day. They were saying that by 2050, there will be 2.5 billion people in Africa.
Wow.
Okay, that's huge.
Massive.
And by 2050, 1 out of 4 individuals in the globe, across the globe, will be African. I mean, that blows your mind, right? If you just think that's where it's all going to happen. And there are 54 countries in Africa, and CMC operates in 51 of the 54 countries. So now with the data centers coming in, you're also going to be having, and cloud coming in, you're going to have a lot of data sovereignty requirements coming in from the policymakers. And that's coming in slowly, creeping in pockets of countries. The latency for cloud is going to be high. So the evolution of the African market is definitely taking place, and the digital transformation is no longer just a buzzword. It is happening.
So what are the industries that really making up Africa? Because I mean, of course, there's governments and things like that. But like, is there predominantly Africa is really good in manufacturing or something? Like, I'm trying to understand. Is like everywhere on everything?
Natural resources. Think of all the natural resources. I mean, look at Nigeria. It's one of the largest oil producers in the world.
Yes.
I think it's the 4th largest.
Yeah.
You got a lot of multinationals that come in. I mean, Africa has leapfrogged many technologies already, right? So you just think about the way they work with mobile banking. You got financial sectors, you got production, manufacturing. I think everybody thinks Africa is, behind the curve. They're not. They're quite ahead of the curve and very, very entrepreneurial, a mindset of a lot of creativity. The median age is really young. The median age is 19.
Wow.
Okay, so it's happening out there. The consumer, back to the size of it and the scale and the population, the consumer demand is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, I think most of us in the kind of Western world and other parts of the world think of Africa as, still evolving. But it's totally the opposite, right?
No, it's not. It's there.
I know, you got to go there to see it, right?
You got to see it there.
It's just crazy.
It is. It's a culture of warmth. But it's not just one country. People think of Africa as a country. It's not. It's a continent. 54 countries.
Yes.
I think there's close to 2,500 languages spoken. Okay.
Wow.
So, and everybody's got their own culture, their own government, their own way of dealing with their own policies. So you got to be mindful of policies and just compliance in general. I think that's key.
But why, you said at the beginning, South Africa is kind of where everything's happening, but yet you have all these countries.
Yeah.
So aren't they all evolving as big, as better?
They are, but from a hyperscaler perspective, that's you'll see the key focus is on South Africa, and eventually, I would assume that these hyperscalers will be building out in data centers across Africa in a broader scale. But right now, South Africa is the main focus area. And that is where CMC is coming in. We're launching CMC Cloud, where we're going to be building edge cloud nodes across Africa. It is required. You want to bring the data closer to the consumer, to the customer. And now you've got data sovereignty, you've got latency coming in. And so this is a key focus for CMC Networks.
So with this, rapid evolution of technologies, particularly in, like you said, cloud, cybersecurity, and now we're talking about network as a service, how does CMC Networks meet that diverse needs of this global customer base?
Yeah, it's not simple. I mean, Africa already is very complex to work in. It's it's got the hardest geographies and terrain to work in, right? But what we have done now, CMC is launching CMC Fusion, which is a network as a service platform. It's cloud-based. And basically it is a multitude of all connectivity, network connectivity services, and we collate that all together onto this cloud platform. And you can have any form of service that you require on that by a click of a button. So what we're doing is we are actually removing the barriers across Africa, and we're bringing one network, one ecosystem for any customer to procure their services and to manage their services. It can be from SD-WAN, it can be Ethernet, MPLS, DIA, cybersecurity, multi-cloud, service management, you name it. And it's full automation, full orchestration, and zero-touch provisioning. So, and this is the simplicity of driving digital transformation with CMC Fusion across Africa for any of our customers, may it be service providers, may it be tier 1 operators, may it be multinationals.
So you've got this massive footprint that covers Africa and the Middle East, but I'd say mainly Africa.
Mainly Africa, predominantly.
And then you have all of these partners that got local loops to all over the countries, to all over the buildings, including wireless, potentially, fixed wireless.
Correct.
5G,
yes,
fixed wireless
absolutely.
access.
Yep.
Okay, so broadband loops. And basically they come to you and they go, hey, I want to connect to all these parts of Africa. And I not only want connectivity, would you do me SD-WAN for application performance, or will you secure me for cybersecurity, connect me to all these clouds, hyperscaler clouds, and everything? And you're a one-stop shop, and and your answer is, yes, I can do it, and I can do it in a very automated way.
Exactly right.
Wow.
That's exactly right.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So you're like the big one there.
Yeah, we've just got all the building blocks ready. We're just about to launch that along with CMC Cloud. So we're very excited about CMC Fusion and CMC Cloud.
Yeah, that's very impressive, actually. So I know I've been working with Nico with CMC, and I rarely get to talk to you, but I finally get some really great insights about how big CMC is. So,
Yeah.
so what do you see your roles in the new technologies of NaaS, having both with CMC and across Africa? How like NaaS, network as a service, utility as a service, which means fundamentally the commercial model has changed. You know, I want to buy it at pay-as-you-go, like a utility or at a monthly subscription, but don't make me sign these 5-year contracts, you know. Is that something even a reality that's in Africa? Is that even going to happen?
Eventually. Right now, you know, as I said, we're an aggregator. We manage 180 suppliers. Now you got to get them. You got to get the suppliers on board with you. You got to get them certified. That's the beauty of working with MEF, right? Is we're driving this standard across for all the different types of services, but also to make sure that everybody is understanding of the power behind that. And quite, you know, this network as a service is a delivery model, and getting your head around that. Why? But that's what the enterprise customer wants. They want to be able to say, I want the service for six months or a month, or I need to burst, or I need to, whatever it is that their requirements are. I don't quite think Africa's ready for that yet. However, the education around that and the certification around that needs to come through sooner than later, because that's just where the world's going. It's all about automation, it's all about on-demand, and it's all about this new way of working with the new delivery model behind it. But there will be costs associated. You're going to have to over-provision or over-subscribe on a network. Who's going to be paying for that? Is it going to be a premium service? Are we going to be reducing our margin? Are we going to be asking the in-country last mile operator to be eating the difference? There will be a conversation around it that needs to be had.
So it's not just about a technology. There's a lot of commercial aspects to this to get right, to really deliver as a service.
Yeah.
And you know, I was reading an article about the hyperscalers. They were doing perpetual licenses, you know, in the enterprises, and that was their bread and butter. And then they moved to a cloud model, which is pay-as-you-go or subscription. And what they did was, in the perpetual model, they would actually sell, you know, 3-year licenses, 5-year licenses, and then additionally support cost. So they were making money not only on the perpetual license of the software, but the support cost.
Yeah.
But now as a service, the support's built in. And it's built in that monthly subscription or the pay-as-you-go. So like, whoa, how do you justify all of that? And how do you optimize all of that and still make margins on that and make profit? So it is really hard to get your head through all of this, and you have to get all your ecosystems and all your manufacturers and all your vendors to play in a certain way that makes yourself profitable. So I think it's a very, very challenging landscape to maneuver as a CEO. So kudos to you.
I'll take the kudos.
Well, Marisa, always a pleasure to talk to you, meet with you. So thank you for joining us
Thank
to the
you.
Executive at the Edge.
Thank you, Pascal. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Executives at the Edge. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe today. Share online a review. Find all our episodes on your favorite podcast platform and at MEF.net.